The door slammed shut behind me, the metallic clang echoing like a sentence I hadn't agreed to serve. For a terrifying second, I thought it was an accident until I saw the smirk on his face. What kind of man locks his rival in a garage and calls it foreplay? I should have been furious, calling security, threatening lawsuits, demanding answers. Instead, my pulse betrayed me. It raced, not just from fear but from the electric charge sparking in the space between us. His eyes held mine like a dare. "Relax," he said, his voice low, casual, as if this were some twisted boardroom game. "You're not going anywhere until we talk." Nathan Hale, CEO of Hale Enterprises, the man whose company had been trying to crush mine for the past 2 years, was standing in front of me as if he owned the night, the air, the very breath in my lungs. I hated him. God, I hated how much I noticed him, how the light from the overhead bulb cut across the lines of his jaw, how his suit clung to him like it had been made for sin. And yet here I was, locked in an underground garage with him, my career teetering on the edge of collapse, my emotions even closer to the brink. "You can't just trap me here," I snapped, though my voice cracked halfway through. "This is insane. Insane." His lips curved into something between a smile and a challenge. "Maybe, but sometimes insane is the only way to get the truth." The truth. As if truth was something either of us had the luxury to cling to anymore. 2 years ago, I had thought building my startup would be the boldest thing I'd ever do. We were young, ambitious, foolish enough to believe we could take on the world, and Hale Enterprises had been watching. Watching, waiting, and eventually crushing. They had undercut our deals, stolen clients with ruthless efficiency, and pushed us closer and closer to the brink of bankruptcy. And now here was Nathan Hale himself, the executioner of my dreams, cornering me with nothing but silence and his unshakable confidence. "What do you want from me?" I asked, the frustration spilling out sharper than I intended. He leaned against the car, arms crossed, his eyes never leaving mine. "Maybe I want to see what you're really made of." Or maybe his pause was deliberate, meant to cut me open from the inside. "Maybe I'm tired of pretending I don't notice you." My chest tightened. He couldn't mean that. This had to be another power play, another manipulation. Except, there was no audience here. No investors, no employees, no shareholders to impress. Just him. And me. "Notice me?" My laugh was hollow. "You destroyed my company. I tested you." He stepped closer, the heat of him making the concrete walls seem to close in. "And you're still standing." His words should have been salt in an open wound. Instead, they felt like oxygen to a fire I tried desperately to smother. I remember the first time I saw Nathan at a networking gala. He had walked into the room like it belonged to him, every movement deliberate, every smile calculated. I had told myself men like him were nothing but predators, feeding on the weak, hollow inside. But when his gaze had brushed mine across the champagne glasses and laughter, I had felt something shift. Something I couldn't name then, something I refused to acknowledge even now. And now, with his eyes fixed on me again in this cold, concrete garage, I couldn't ignore it any longer. "You think you can just corner me? What? Confess your little secret, and I'll fall at your feet?" I challenged, my voice trembling with a mix of anger and something dangerously close to longing. He smirked. "Falling isn't necessary, but maybe admitting what's already there would be a start." I wanted to deny it, to tell him he was wrong, that I felt nothing but contempt. But the truth was clawing at my throat, threatening to betray me. Because the truth was, the reason his attacks had hurt so much wasn't just professional, it was personal. The silence stretched between us, thick, heavy, charged. Finally, I broke it. "You don't know what it's like to build something with your own hands, to watch it almost collapse because of someone else's power trip. And now you stand here." My voice faltered as his hand brushed against mine, barely a ghost of a touch. "Like you have the right to want me." His expression softened in a way I'd never seen before, as if a mask had cracked. "I don't just want you." His words were a whisper, raw, stripped of arrogance. "I need you." Something inside me crumbled. The garage suddenly didn't feel like a prison anymore. It felt like a confession booth, where every lie, every denial had nowhere left to hide. I should have walked away. I should have called him insane, told him to open the damn door and let me go. But instead, I found myself stepping closer, drawn to the gravity between us. "Why now?" I asked, my voice barely audible. "After everything you've done?" "Because I was afraid," he admitted, and the honesty in his tone left me disarmed. "Afraid of wanting something that could destroy us both. But watching you fight, watching you rise, even when I tried to break you, made me realize I'd been fighting the wrong battle." The world tilted. For the first time in years, I didn't feel like prey. I felt seen. And God help me, I wanted to believe him. But belief doesn't come easy when betrayal is all you've known. My heart was caught in a war with my head, torn between desire and distrust. I swallowed hard. "If you're lying to me, if this is just another one of your games," his hand cupped my jaw, firm but tender, silencing the rest. "It's not a game. Not anymore." And in that moment, with the hum of the fluorescent light above and the distant echo of the city outside, I realized something terrifying. I wanted him to be telling the truth. The night stretched before us, filled with unanswered questions and dangerous possibilities. Somewhere in the distance, I could hear the faint sound of a car engine, the reminder that the world was still moving, still judging, still ready to tear us apart if it knew. But here, in this stolen moment, with Nathan's hand on me and my defenses slipping, I wondered if maybe, just maybe, you could rewrite the story neither of us had dared to imagine. And that was the most dangerous thought of all. The next few days were chaos. Rumors spread through the industry like wildfire about my company's near collapse, about Hale Enterprises circling like vultures. And yet, through all of it, Nathan was suddenly everywhere. Not as an enemy this time, but as something else, something I wasn't sure how to define. He showed up at my office under the guise of negotiations. He called at hours that weren't business hours. He looked at me in ways that had nothing to do with contracts or mergers. And I hated him for it. Because every time his gaze lingered, every time his voice softened, I wanted to believe. I wanted to believe the man who locked me in a garage just to force me to listen could also be the man who would stand beside me when the world fell apart. But old wounds run deep, and trust doesn't rebuild overnight. The breaking point came one evening at a charity gala. I had gone, desperate to show strength, to prove to everyone that my company still had a heartbeat. The ballroom glittered with wealth and power, but it all felt hollow. Whispers followed me like shadows. And then he was there, Nathan, tall, composed, the picture of confidence. People parted for him as he walked toward me, like he owned not just the floor but the night itself. My heart pounded, and I told myself it was anger, not anticipation. "Dance with me," he said simply, extending his hand. I almost laughed. "You're insane." "Probably." His lips curved in that infuriating way. "But so are you for even being here. So why not?" The music swelled, and before I could think better of it, I was in his arms, moving across the floor. Every eye in the room was on us. Every whisper turned into speculation. Rivals don't dance. Enemies don't touch like this. But we weren't rivals anymore, were we? Not in this moment. "You're ruining me," I whispered against his shoulder. He tightened his grip just slightly. "Or maybe I'm saving you." And I didn't know which was worse, that he might be lying, or that he might be telling the truth. The storm broke 2 weeks later. My company lost its biggest client, and the press declared us dead in the water. I locked myself in my office, staring at the financial reports, feeling the weight of years of work slipping through my fingers. That's when Nathan barged in. No knocking, no pretense. Just him, larger than life, filling my office with his presence. "I'm not letting you burn out like this," he said. "Why do you care?" My voice cracked, raw with exhaustion. "You got what you wanted. You crushed me. Congratulations." His jaw clenched. "You really think this is what I wanted? It's what you did." "I wanted your attention," he shot back. The words came out like a confession torn from him. "I wanted to push you to see if you'd fight back. And you did. God, you did. You're the only one who's ever stood up to me. Don't you see?" I don't want your company to die. I want to build something with you, not against you, with you. The room went silent, except for the pounding of my heart. He stepped closer, his voice breaking. I'm not good at this. I don't know how to say it without sounding like I'm trying to win another deal. But this isn't business. It's you. It's always been you. And just like that, the walls I had built around myself began to crumble. The partnership announcement stunned the industry. Headlines blared about the unthinkable alliance, the merger no one saw coming. What they didn't see were the late nights we spent arguing and laughing over strategies, the quiet moments when his hand brushed mine across stacks of papers, the stolen glances that carried more weight than any contract. We fought, of course, two stubborn men with egos too big for one room. But somewhere between the battles, I found something I hadn't expected: peace. Because with Nathan, even the fights meant I wasn't alone anymore. One night, long after the office lights had dimmed and the city outside was hushed, I found him on the rooftop, staring at the skyline. Do you ever regret it? I asked, stepping beside him. He turned to me, his eyes reflecting the city lights. Locking you in that garage? Every day. But not because I did it. Because it was the only way I could get you to see me. I laughed softly, shaking my head. You're impossible. He slipped his hand into mine, the gesture simple, grounding. Maybe, but you're the only one who makes impossible feel worth it. And for the first time in years, I let myself believe. Months later, the world still talked. They speculated, judged, whispered about how two rivals became partners in both business and life. Some applauded, others sneered, but none of it mattered. Not anymore, because every morning, when I woke up with Nathan's arm around me, when I saw him half asleep and unguarded, when I realized the man who had once been my greatest enemy was now my greatest ally, I knew the truth. Love had never been the weakness I thought it was. It was the risk that saved me. And in the quiet safety of his embrace, I understood something I should have known all along. The boldness that once threatened to destroy me had, in the end, saved not just my career, but my heart. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated with the latest videos.